Hey everybody, welcome back. This is what happens when your sister is a bridezilla. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my sister-in-law after she expected me to pay her and her friend's bill? Okay. You may be seated. I'm assuming that you probably are sitting down, but for the few of you who watch my videos standing up, are you a serial killer, first of all? And please sit down. Strap yourself in, find something to hold on to. I, 25 female, went out to dinner for my sister-in-law's 28 female bachelorette party this past weekend. Between my sister-in-law and my husband, sister-in-law has always been the golden child of the family. Growing up, my in-laws coddled her and gave her everything she wanted, while my husband always got the crappy end of the stick. She was always the popular girl in school, cheerleader, lots of friends, all the boys loved her. All right, so she's probably entitled. Nothing breeds entitlement like being a gorgeous, gorgeous girl and having everything handed to you because you have pretty privilege.
Woo! Privilege!
When my husband was always a little more nerdy and got picked on quite a bit, even my in-laws would give him a hard time about this and say he needed to be, quote, more like his sister. Fast forward to today, both my husband and I went to top schools, got our degrees, and currently have very well-paying jobs in tech. I'm not trying to sound braggy, this is just for context. I mean, you're bragging a little bit, but like, I'm totally fine with it. Mostly because I was also picked apart in high school and junior high for being different and not being popular, but I'm pretty popular now, I'd say, so.
How the turntables.
Don't mean to brag, but anyways, love making things about me. We all live a very, very comfortable life. Sister-in-law currently lives at home with my in-laws where they foot all of her bills. She had my niece, 4 female with her ex, and is currently on marriage number 2. This past weekend, I was invited to this fancy upscale restaurant in my city for sister-in-law's bachelorette party. She just wanted to do a nice dinner. There were 8 of us in total, and at the end of the dinner, the bill comes out and the waiter hands it to me. Why? Why did he hand it to you? Why you? Did she like tell them to hand it to you? Sitting here confused for a second until sister-in-law speaks up and says, my parents and I were talking and thinking about you and my brother can handle the bill for this as a wedding gift. Oh, that's just great. Would have been nice to know that, you know, before everyone ate and drank.
Then it wouldn't be a surprise, would it?
Since you're not financially contributing to my wedding, I'm sorry. When is it up to the brother and sister-in-law to contribute to the sister-in-law's wedding? How is that? Is that what? I love it when you become like a little bit successful and you have a little bit of money and then all of a sudden people feel entitled to your money.
You guys are getting paid?
I stared at her, shocked for a moment, and there was like and you didn't think to bring this up to me beforehand? That's what I'm saying is like, I probably would have in that situation. I probably would have put down my credit card, like whatever. I would have offered, especially, you know, if I had a good relationship with the bride. Yeah, we could have talked about it before and I might have been okay with it. I invite you to pay for my bachelorette dinner. Little weird, but okay.
Guess it's not the thought that counts.
She started going off about how we are so well off, so what's the big deal? She's sure her brother wouldn't have an issue with it. Yeah, but that's her brother, not you. I asked her why her fiance doesn't foot the bill, or my in-laws, and where in her right mind does she think it's okay to spring this on me?
Because we're poor?
She started going on about how we're the wealthiest in both her and her fiance. Yeah, but that doesn't
mean anything. You're not entitled to people's money that isn't yours.
She said that we were the wealthiest in both her and her fiance's family and that she didn't think I would act like this and that I would say yes. I told her, well, sorry, but I'm not your parents. Don't expect handouts from me. Oh, period!
Mic drop.
Oh, let me guess. She didn't like that, did she? She called me selfish. Oh, wow. Really? Sounds like projection. And I called her an entitled brat, paid for half of my bill, and left. Listen. I've had a lot of therapy to be able to discern when someone is projecting their own problems onto me whenever I decide to create a boundary. Lots and lots of therapy. As expected, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and even some of the cousins and aunts on my husband's side have been absolutely furious with me and are expecting me to apologize for the comments. What about apologizing for feeling entitled to your money? What about apologizing for expecting someone to pay for a bill without giving them a heads up?
We don't do that here.
Like, it sounds like they all discussed this behind your back and thought it would just be fine because you're rich. It doesn't even sound like you even like this woman. Of all people who would pay for something like a bachelorette party, it should be the parents or the fiance. But like, I feel like it's kind of like the people in the wedding party, you know, like the bridesmaids would all pitch in and all cover the cost of it. It is not normal to ask one person to pay the bill and like not even give them a heads up for it. Like that's just bizarre to me.
This is outrageous. It's unfair.
I told them over my dead body. Husband is 100% on my side and we're debating not going to the wedding. I was talking to my mom and she thinks I took it too far with the comments and should just apologize to keep the peace. Am I the a-hole? Info, the bill was close to $1,000 USD. Oh, hell to the no. So what happened to the bill? Who paid? I'm curious. I would have just like given my credit card, paid your part, and then like left quietly out the back. All right, I'm gonna go with not the a-hole, but just because I definitely deal with people a lot like this. It wasn't your responsibility to pay for the bill. She didn't ask you in advance. And it's like insulting to think that you can just kind of bring that up. Oh, you've just got money, so you pay for it. It's like such like a weird thing to expect. I'm a super generous person. I pay for bills a lot, constantly putting down my credit card, constantly taking out people and employees and everybody. But as soon as you start to expect it, that's where I start to dislike it. Never expect your rich friend to pay for everything.
So what's the point?
They're doing those things out of the kindness of their heart, not because they're your meal ticket. Don't apologize no matter how much money you make. You're not expected to contribute to your sister-in-law's wedding. WTF. Literally, like, I'm sorry, what? Foot the bill for an entire bachelorette party that you were attending as a guest? Yeah, like you're not even in the wedding party? What? De-escalate her temper tantrum once she didn't get her way. The burden of payment for a bachelorette party usually falls on the maid of honor and bridesmaids. That's what I'm saying. And arrange for ahead of time or the bride. It's not up to like the rich person in the friend group to pay for it, let alone someone that you're not even that close to. And a far more common occurrence is that everyone pays their own way but chips in for the bride so that she's taken care of. But again, that's settled way ahead of time. That's actually what's happening with my friend's bachelorette. Like my best friend's getting married. We're going to Costa Rica for her bachelorette. We were like, okay, maybe we should all pitch in and like cover her part. She actually doesn't want us to do that. So we're just gonna like surprise her. I don't know if she's gonna be watching this video, but yeah, it's common for all of the people in the wedding party and the friends and the people invited to the bachelorette to like pay for their own way and then cover the bride's part. I don't know where this tradition is coming from. And like OP said, this should have been discussed before. It's usually split or with the maid of honor or the bride, but that's part of the planning process, not the a-hole. I applaud the shiny spine on OP. Such a shiny spine. The shiniest. Too many people let the entitled a-holes get away with awful behavior in the name of keeping peace. We should all aspire to be more like OP. I find it weird when people feel entitled to your money. Like I really do. I think it's absolutely bizarre.
Can I have some money now?
You have that money because you worked hard. This is like her second marriage too. Not judging about the second marriage, but it's like, okay, they already paid once, okay? That was supposed to be the only time. Reddit has dubbed thee not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for announcing my pregnancy at my sister's wedding? Oh, okay. We know how we feel about this, but like maybe let's get some context.
What the hell is your game?
I'm usually not for announcing engagements and things and pregnancies at other people's weddings, but let's definitely hear what they have to say. I'm 32, my sister is 28, and we've always been incredibly close. Point in case, she was the first person I told that I was pregnant, besides my husband, of course. I told her essentially a week after I got a positive pregnancy test, which was about 3 months before her wedding. I told her I was gonna tell our parents and my husband's parents around the 10th week mark, but she told me that I should hold off until her wedding in September. Okay, so she told you to announce it at the wedding?
Something smells fishy.
I'd be like 4 months along at that point, so I wouldn't be showing really. And she thought it would be so special for her to be able to make an announcement about a, quote, special guest at her wedding, and it would be her first niece or nephew, and my parents' first grandbaby. I agreed because it seemed like it meant a lot to her, and again, we were super close, and I was really happy to do that for her. Turns out, first trimester was awful, with morning sickness and exhaustion. I would have preferred to be able to talk about it with my mom, but I was willing to grin and bear it for my sister's wedding. Oh, okay, this is interesting. With the wedding come along, and about halfway through the night, I asked her when the announcement was happening. She told me she changed her mind. Okay, so like, couldn't we like have talked about this beforehand? She changed her mind and that her wedding didn't seem like a good time or place to announce my pregnancy. I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but like if you agreed to it at the beginning, then that's your fault. I was super upset since I went through a really awful first trimester with only my sister and husband to lean on. I decided I wasn't gonna put the announcement on hold any longer just for her, so my husband and I pulled my parents aside and quietly told them to keep it private for the evening. They were thrilled, lots of hugs, a few tears, but a very tight touching and private moment. Literally no one else found out until I announced it on Facebook a week later. My sister found out around the same time as my Facebook post when my dad mentioned how we told him about it. And she texted me and called me a B word who made her wedding about myself. And she hasn't spoken to me since. Okay, this was like a private conversation that you had with the parents that no one else knew about. So I'm sorry, but that wedding was not about you. That was about your sister, and you made sure of that. I messaged her and apologized probably a dozen times, but she refused to talk to me, and now she refuses to come and see her nephew, who's almost a month old. Oh my goodness. My parents and partner think I did nothing wrong since she went back on her word, and that I should just wait it out and she'll come around. I'm obviously unsure, as clearly this has made her so upset with me, and we were so close before. Am I the a-hole? No. Edit. I've seen a lot of comments saying I was trying to be mean, petty, vindictive, spiteful, hurt my sister, etc. I mean, this is the thing. Could you have waited a day until it wasn't at your wedding? You probably could have. But she also could have maybe let you know that this wasn't the right place to announce your pregnancy before the wedding, so that you could have announced it at a different time. If I had been any of those things, I would have made sure she found out that I had done it, you know? Yeah, I agree. She just happened to find out a week later because my dad let it slip. I desperately wanted to tell my mom, and after waiting 2 months for my sister, it felt like I couldn't wait another moment, and at the whims of someone who wasn't even involved in the pregnancy. I understand now that I definitely should not have waited to tell my mom about the pregnancy. Hindsight is 2020 and all of that. I don't know. To me, you're not the a-hole. Could you have waited a day? Maybe. But also, your sister definitely could have told you before you expected to make the announcement. I also don't feel like a wedding is the right place to announce your pregnancy. I don't think it is right to take away attention from the bride and groom at a wedding. This is a celebration of their life and their union, and it should be about that. Unless previously discussed with the bride and groom, and it's like something that they gave the go-ahead to do. Not the a-hole. I was all set to say you didn't announce that at a wedding, thinking you grabbed the mic and told the whole wedding. You didn't. You told your parents. Just them. And clearly it didn't create a fuss at the wedding because your sister didn't even know until a week later when your parents told her. Yeah, she didn't even know until later. So clearly the wedding was still about her, and would have been if your dad didn't let it slip. You know what happened here, right? Your sister didn't want you to steal any of her wedding thunder leading up to the wedding. Oh, that's true. See, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to come out and just like say it.
Say it.
Didn't want to come out and outright say it because I feel like that's really awful. Telling someone, your sister, that they are not allowed to tell anyone that they're pregnant leading up to your wedding, and then saying that they can do it at your wedding, and then at the wedding somehow being like, okay, no, this isn't the right place to do it. It sounds like she didn't want any of that time period to be about you. I think that's definitely what it was about, in which case your sister's a major a-hole. Obviously, we don't know what really happened, but that's how I felt too. She saw this as her time, and the focus was supposed to be on her upcoming life event, not yours. That's why she told you not to tell anyone and all, and then she'd announce it at the wedding. I don't even think she ever planned to announce it. It was just a way to keep you from telling anyone so she could be the center of attention for months. That's why she didn't tell her sister until the actual wedding. I feel like that's a pretty big thing to just like let it slip your mind. That was deliberate. Telling you right now, I'm a psychic. Not the a-hole, but your sister is yelling my wedding is ruined after 1 week of happily thinking about the perfect day is a really strange move, as is how can I prevent my sister from getting any attention at all during the duration of 4 full months. Your sister's a bridezilla! Not the a-hole. Do we have time for one more?
I think we do.
Just a small one?
Small one? Just a little small one? Just a baby one. Just a little baby.
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to watch a group of kids at my sister's wedding? I, female 25, am a kindergarten teacher, and I've been teaching for 4 years now. And even though it can be exhausting, I overall love my job. My sister, female 30 years old, is getting married in 2 weeks. My about-to-be brother-in-law has a sister who lost her husband 6 months ago and has twin daughters. I offered to watch one of the twins during the reception so he can hopefully have some fun. I know the twins, overall they're well-behaved, so I didn't mind if that meant the brother-in-law's sister can have some fun after losing her husband and becoming a single mom 6 months ago. Today, I was talking to my sister, and I found out my sister told several of her friends that I can watch their kids during their reception. Oh, isn't that fun?
Oh, she'd love it. She'd love it. It's her job. She would totally love to do it on her day off at my wedding.
I asked, why did she say that? She said, well, since you're a teacher and watching brother-in-law sister twins, I figured she wouldn't mind. I'm sorry. A couple of kids is a lot different than a bunch of kids, all right? This isn't a daycare.
Oh, hell no.
I told her I do mind, and she better tell her friends to either take their kids and watch them themselves or start looking for a babysitter because I'm not. My sister went on Bridezilla, calling me selfish, a-hole, and accusing me of not liking my job because I can't handle a group of kids for a few hours. You're getting paid to watch those kids. Like the kids that you watch and teach at your kindergarten teacher job, that's something that you get paid to do. Not that I don't like my job. I love my job. I'd just rather not watch a group of kids I don't know. So am I the a-hole? Absolutely not.
Why is it that when we call people out, entitled people usually,
They always seem to turn it around and call us selfish and like the worst name in the book. Why is that? Could it possibly be that they are exactly who we think they are? Not the a-hole. You didn't offer to be a babysitter. You offered to watch a pair of twins that you know. It's like being a chef/baker, volunteering to make the wedding cake only to be voluntold. You're now catering the whole wedding. You're not the a-hole, my dear. And your sister's a bridezilla. Frick. Ugh.